Let us see what this track is all about. So I have absolutely no idea where I'm going. Oh wow, very tight pit exit. And you have to follow all the way around here. Yeah, that pit exit's really, really tricky. Luckily most tracks, I guess, will be sprint based, so lots of people won't have to worry about that. Let's go. Long left-hander. Not too complicated so far, other than the pit exit. Okay, so quite a lot more speed to be carried through there. Okay, so that could be a very fun section, especially in a car like this, you know, with lots of downforce. Initial thoughts are it's obviously very, very narrow. Okay, that's the fast chicane to a fast right-hander, so that chicane should be quite fun as well. I assume it'll be probably close to flat, but might harm your ability to go around the next corner. Another chicane, a little bit slower this time. Small kink. That takes us to the final corner, okay. Okay, so it doesn't seem too bad. I assume it's all four wheels as we go wide. All four wheels off on the pit entry line. So quite standard stuff. Alright, so that's the start-finish line. Okay, so it doesn't seem too complex in terms of actual corners. And we've got this first chicane, okay. So I assume there's multiple layouts to this track. I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head how many configs we've got, but I know that there's a tighter first chicane from what I've seen here. I'm pretty sure that's a famous one. I'm sure a lot of you guys will know the famous clip from that chicane. So yeah, quite a narrow circuit. Definitely seems like it'll suit, you know, for obvious reasons, smaller cars, but I think there will be probably quite a limit in terms of raceability. Cars, obviously, narrow circuits makes overtaking a lot more difficult, so cars that have a bit more slipstream are going to really thrive here. Once you get to the bigger formula cars, you know, the likes of an F1 or something, it's probably going to become a little bit more of a Mickey Mouse track, if we can put it that way, where it's maybe just a bit too small for something like that. But you know, the likes of GT3s and GT4s, I think, will all really suit this track well. Yeah, it's got a really, really nice flow. So that last corner is quite tricky, probably the trickiest so far. It tightens up quite a bit more than you think on the exit. It's all about just pushing the limits and finding where the limit is on the brakes. A lot of these medium speed, long load corners are going to be tire killers. Yeah, overall impressions are quite positive. It doesn't seem like there's any, you know, weird curbings that spit the car off weird ways. Doesn't really seem like off tracks will really be that much of an issue. But of course I'm far, far, far below the limit at the minute. See DRS boards there. I think they're a bit ambitious, thinking that DRS is really going to do much. See if we can get this last corner right. A bit better. Yeah, really nice flow. It's nice that the the exit curbs are quite flat as well. Even the apex curves for the most part are quite flat. It's always nice when you go to a track, especially, you know, curb strikes and handling in iRacing are often not a strong suit for a lot of cars. So it's actually nice to go to a track and be able to attack those and not have to worry about, you know, getting sent to the moon or, you know, snapping your suspension, things like that. Yeah, extremely fun, this track, for hot lapping, I'll imagine. And yeah, like I've said before, raceability will probably just be determined on what car you're actually driving. But I think, yeah, the slower the car, the better the racing will be for obvious reasons. And I think there'll probably be a little bit of a cap on the speed that can be carried here. You know, your GT3s, your Formula 3 is probably going to be your limit for, you know, speed versus the track just being too small. Graphically, it looks pretty nice. I mean, I'm not noticing anything weird. Of course, I don't exactly have the settings up to max, so some people's may look quite a bit different to myself, but yeah, really nice track. We tried quite a tricky last sector, and it's really, although the speed's only medium, it's really high commitment, and you sort of have to commit to the corner and to the exit way before you're ever getting there. And one other big thing that feels quite nice is that, you know, recent new tracks that have come to iRacing, you know, updated Silverstone, your updated IndyCar road course, for example. The track surface, Barcelona's probably another good example as well, but the track surface often seems quite slippery, quite greasy, really, really strange feeling to it. This actually, track surface feels good. It feels like the tires are biting into the track and not sort of dancing across the top. So, you know, those other tracks, your Silverstones and your Barcelonas, are often just cause extreme overheating of the tire because they're so slippery. I don't think this will really be much of a problem in that sense. But obviously it could still be tricky just because of the nature of the corners being high load for quite a long time. Slowly building up the pace then. Just figuring out the limits of the car, figuring out the corners. I don't think the track itself is too complicated to memorize and figure out which way the turns go. But of course the pushing of the limits is going to be the part that takes a little bit more time. You know, it's not like a Nordschleife that's going to take a very long time just to memorize the corners before you can start really pushing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the likes of that corner really pushing the limits, so take a little bit to figure out how much speed we can actually carry. I think the previous chicane I come through is probably going to be the easiest place to pick up off tracks, and maybe this last corner as well. That chicane in the final corner sneak up on you quite a bit. The exits tighten up a bit more than you'd expect. I think those will probably be the scary parts for off tracks. This one disappointing thing about the circuit that I could maybe say is that some of these circuits often, I assume it's when they're scanned and things like that, like that's the main reason to do with it, but they often don't have any brake marker boards, which are obviously extremely crucial around the track. So a little bit disappointing not to have any of those, or at least not that I've seen anyways. And so you're sort of having to try and pick out other references that you can spot. Yeah, I'm not sure why they do that. If it's just they don't have any at all when it's scanned, or they put them in specifically for a motorsport event and it's not there all the time, which I guess would make sense. But yeah, that's probably the only negative I could spot so far from the track. Corner goes on for so long. It's a really fun section of track, trying to figure out the limit between how much speed you can carry through without understeering too far to the left, because then you're not set up properly for the next braking zone coming up. So we need to open up the exit a bit more here. There's a lot more commitment through the second last corner as well. I think we can get away with it. Just a lift through there. And previously I've been cheerleading the brake a little bit. Really good combo this though. Any guys who are into their downforce cars, single seaters, are gonna have a blast around here. It's a very tricky section to get right as well. Still haven't quite figured out the line to get the correct amount of speed that I need. Yeah, it's really tricky, that exit of the chicane, to avoid off tracks when pushing. So we're at 24.2, so I think quick laps are probably going to be, 22s, 23s. Plenty of grip in the circuit, it's quite nice. Actually attack the corners a bit without worry of huge loss of the rear end with no warning. It's a bit better. Still a little bit slow on entry, but getting there. Next time around, I think we'll start experimenting through that fast chicane. See what the limit is for cutting it. See how strict it is. That pit entry, I don't think you have to worry too much about it. It's you can open up the corner plenty. It's not really that stressful. But we will test this fast chicane and see how strict we're gonna get shredded up. See. Okay, well, at least we know they're detachable and they're actually hittable objects. We got the off track straight away, so yeah, I think the off track there is pretty fair. Basically, anything that avoids those red bollards is gonna be fine. We'll go around and check if that little bollard has been replaced. If not, that could be issues during the races. It could make that corner very, very difficult to spot the limit. Tricky little corner, the first chicane on when you're starting to push the limit, and the rear is dancing around quite a bit because we're turning whilst braking. You know, we're making a direction change as well whilst braking. We finally carried a bit of speed in. Let's see, it has been replaced. Okay. So it'd be interesting to see how that looks in races with a full pack coming past it. If it spawns back instantly, if it actually moves or not. So it could be quite annoying for some guys. One guy takes an off track and knocks it out the way, and then you maybe get a slowdown because you just can't see the limit anymore. Oh wow, okay. So I extended all the way into the grass there and got no off track, so quite lenient on the exit there. That wasn't quite the correct line. So yeah, it seems we can extend all the way out and use up all of the track there.
Your wheels out of alignment.
Okay, there we go. So at least we know that they are collidable, so and they do damage the car, so that's good. Surprising, I guess, but good. Definitely gonna to deter people from trying to squeeze everything out of it. And we'll have a quick look at the pit entry then as well. Really narrow, grass either side, so very, very tricky pit entry and pit exit. Could be interesting in races that require pit stops. Definitely something that you guys will need to practice and really perfect.
Pit box in 10.
Pit lane itself, though, nice and wide.
3, 2, 1. Right here.
The actual pit surface itself is quite grippy too, so yeah, be interesting in races for pit stops, like I say. Very, very tricky entry and exit.